Hey, wait, hold on, for the vlog. Wait. Yeah, everybody smile. Woo! Woo! Oh my god. Is that my cousin? Oh my god.
Down.
Oh.
Does that mean we're live?
What time is it? Oh, it's 4:30.
I can't even. I feel like because the lights went down, that means we are starting. Is that correct? Yes. Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to PAX. I'm so excited to be here today hosting this conversation. My name's Pixelsmixel, or a lot of you know me as Pix. Before I introduce the rest of this lovely panel, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I'm so excited to be here today, especially this year as we're celebrating 10 years of PAX, which is incredible. And it's my pleasure to introduce our lovely panel as well. We'll be covering the topic of crafting connections, authenticity in communities, which is a topic that's super important to me, and I'm so excited to navigate this conversation with these people. So, my background, before I get to give a little bit of a background, which is fine. I have been streaming since 2017. That was my first PAX as well. I was originally a gaming creator, but I switched to news and politics in 2019, actually after having a conversation with this man right here at TwitchCon, he encouraged me to really just follow my passions and lean into what made me unique, and it ended up working out pretty well. So, Lewis, if you would like to introduce yourself to everybody, who are you?
I am this man, and I am Lewis Mitchell. I'm the content director for Twitch in APAC. Really nice to see everyone here. This is awesome. Yeah, so we'll get into a few things.
Trash?
Hey everyone, I'm Trash. I've been streaming for about 3 years now, and yeah, I stream a variety of games. I do IRL streams as well, dance streams. I'm looking for new recruits, but yeah.
And I'm ToastRackTV. I'm a full-time streamer on Twitch. It's not my 10th PAX, but it must be my 8th or so. I never went to the Showgrounds PAX.
It was only
Who went to the Showgrounds PAX 10 years ago? Yes.
This is my first PAX.
Yeah. It was better here. Yeah. Let's say that.
All right, let's kick it off. Today we're talking about crafting lasting connections within community. We're going to explore what authenticity means, and I thought the perfect person to define authenticity would be this man right here in regards to content creation and building a community.
Yes.
How would you describe?
Yeah, so I think one of the common mistakes when it comes to the world of live streaming and putting yourself out there is that you hear, just be yourself. I don't think that's actually quite correct, because there's a lot of things about yourself that you don't want to share. The idea of authenticity is, what are you passionate about sharing with other people? And that really is the definition for me. It's something you're going to be talking about. It's something that you're going to be using as your engagement with your community, and it's the type of people you want to attract as well. So really you have to think about, if you are looking at streaming, if you're putting content together, really think about what do you really want to share with people, and what do you want to hear about their experiences on, because that's what you're going to be talking about, and that's what's going to come across as authentic.
Nice. And Trash, before we get your take on authenticity, how did you get into live streaming? How did this all get started?
How did I get started? I was streaming from my bed. I started with Animal Crossing. I didn't even start with Twitch. I actually started on a different platform. Yeah, but I don't know.
A platform that shall not be named.
But yeah, I started doing Animal Crossing streams in my first year, and then kind of dived into variety. Yeah.
Nice.
Animal Crossing goes out.
And how do you present your authentic take on community? What makes your community authentic to you?
Oh, I think because I always celebrate myself in terms of like LGBTQIA plus, non-binary, like Vietnamese, and bringing that into my streams, and then just building on that as well. I don't know, it's just, I can't really explain. It's just being myself. And then just
Well, the response to who you are from the audience is pretty incredible.
I don't know how to explain. Just being confident in myself. Just really brings out the positive, like the authenticity of it all. Sorry, I'm mumble a lot. I'm nervous.
Yeah, oh my God, you're doing great. You're doing great. And ToastRack, what about you? How did you get started, and what's your take on authenticity?
Well, I got started like a lot of streamers during COVID. So COVID lockdown shut down my old job. I was a TV editor and colour grader. I was working on Dancing with the Stars. If you remember Dancing with the Stars 2020, it got cut short. We went audience free for a while, and then we had the grand final early, and then everyone went home and we all went into lockdown. In Melbourne, I was in Melbourne, Australia, where we had one of the biggest lockdowns in the world, or Western world, I believe. And so I was just at home. I was on government support, but I was just playing Escape from Tarkov all the time and thinking, I wonder what it's like being a streamer. And I thought I'd give it a go. And but I wasn't sure how to present myself. I'm older than the average streamer. I'm 57 years old. I thought, I'm too old to be a streamer. I'm not extroverted, I'm an introvert, I'm not going to be a good streamer. I thought I had to sort of fake it and be a bro gamer. I think I put on a baseball cap for my first stream. Everyone saw straight through it.
Was it very Steve Buscemi, kind of like coming with a skateboard, like hello,
it may have
fellow
been backwards.
kids?
It may have been
Hello,
backwards.
fellow kids.
Yeah.
It was shocking. I've still got that VOD, and I show it every anniversary of my
I need to
streaming,
see this.
just for cringe value. But it was the people the few people who came by my chat, that they're the ones who let me know what they liked about me, and it was that I was a gentlemanly older person. I was playing Escape from Tarkov, which is a notoriously difficult first-person shooter. But unlike other gamers, I don't get mad and throw my keyboard when I die or something goes wrong. I just go, oh, well, that was going to happen. I'm 57. This is what's going to happen a lot. So people sort of got on board with that. And I sort of let the audience tell me who I was. And that helped me become authentic, shed the baseball cap and just be myself on stream. And it became part of the identity of the channel. So people started asking me life advice while I'm playing Escape from Tarkov, like asking about relationships or career moves or problems with insomnia. Heaps of people who watch Twitch have insomnia, and I used to have that, so I have some tips. So people just started asking me life advice, and they'd even sometimes put their whole life story in chat, and I would miss it. So I had to set up a points redeem for life advice so that I wouldn't miss it. It'd be in my redeem queue, and I wouldn't miss everything. And now it's a big part of the channel. So so that's how I found my authentic voice.
Well, that last little bit actually leads into our next topic perfectly, so thank you for that, because we're about to cover tips and strategies for building those lasting connections within your community. Especially regarding like safe and positive spaces as well. My little addition to this one is that I think people get really caught up in the idea that to build a community, you kind of have to be focused on infinite growth. Whereas I would probably encourage taking a step back from that and really focusing on building the connections within your community so you have a really solid foundation. I think people underestimate the value of the people that kind of build your community from the start. And anybody who has been on Twitch for a while knows that growth, it comes and goes in waves, and sometimes getting hyper-focused on growth can really limit your ability to create that authentic vibe within your community. So I'll kick us off there. But Toast, we're starting off with you because, well, you led us into it. Do you have any other tips and strategies that you use to build the connections within your community?
Well, I was even before I started streaming, I I was a big fan of Twitch and followed a lot of streamers already. So I was pretty active in chat and with lots of other Escape from Tarkov streamers. So once I started streaming, that relationship just continued. So and after I'd finished stream, I'd raid somebody. So this is one of the best things about Twitch for community building is at the end of your stream, you can send your audience to another stream. And that's a gift that you're giving that other streamer, as well as continuing the party in the conversation. So it's such a beautiful mechanism that Twitch has. So I'd raid other channels and then continue the conversation there. But it was those relationships, sort of just being in chat and being funny or being part of the conversation or being helpful and sort of getting recognised in other people's chats. That was part of building a community that I sort of accidentally did before I even started streaming. And then once I was, I build community by getting chat involved in the journey. So Escape from Tarkov has a lot of highs and lows. A round lasts about half an hour, and it's a journey of discovery and often disappointment. So, if things go badly, I get chat involved and say, F's in chat for that, we'll get them next time. Or if we celebrate, I've got a Stream Deck button for a round of applause, and everyone cheers, and I get people to cheer in chat, and so everyone becomes sort of part of the journey.
Yeah, they're good tips. Trash, what would you like to add?
I would like to add, being a variety streamer has helped me, build that authenticity community, because sometimes I'll start streaming and I'll be to the chat, I'll be so what are we doing today? I'll be the host, and then it's not my channel. I think of it as it's our channel. So then it's we're all involved. So I always love to get chat involved by doing community games, or just games that they also recommend me to play, so then they can see my reactions to their favorite games and stuff like that. So I really enjoy that part when I stream. So I always think about it as it's not just me, it's everyone involved. So I always love to get everyone involved as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an incredibly important way to do it, really focusing on the community rather than just yourself is, really good. Lewis, you kind of have one of the overarching views, because, you probably know
sure.
lots of streamers.
I'm actually going to kind of talk to one of your points. By the way, just to let you know, if you see me drinking a lot of water, I've just started ADHD meds, and I have dry mouth, so I'm just drinking a lot at the moment. So just that's the only reason. It was something you mentioned before. When you said growth, instantly that connotation was around numbers. I think it's one of the biggest challenges that creators have. And so there's two major challenges when starting out in streaming. The first is understanding what you want to share with your community and how you want to share that. And obviously when you start out, you have the only baseline you have to go off is watching other streams and trying to almost emulate what you like about them, and that's fun. That's how anything works, right? It's if you want to learn to play guitar, you emulate it by watching and listening to other guitarists. But there's a point you get to where it's I'm more comfortable in what I want to share, and I'm becoming kind of more me, which Pix, you had that example where Pix was emulating a lot of streamers that existed at the time, but you weren't really having the conversations that you wanted to have. Then it's you know what, I really am passionate about talking about politics, and that's at the point where you become unique. So it will take a bit of time to get to that level. But the side of growth and instantly thinking of numbers, it's actually the wrong way to think about things. And what I always ask people, and this is going to be a little bit corporate, so I do apologize, but we always think about things from an input-output perspective. And if you ask most streamers, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? I'd say about 80 to 90% of the responses I get are, I want 1 million followers, or I want 10,000 subs. It's cool, can you control 1 million people? Can you control 10,000 people to want to subscribe to you? And you can't, and you can try. It's very hard to do that. So what you really should be thinking of is what can I control? And am I achieving that goal? So it's if you want to make dance content, are you making the dance content that you want to be making? If you want to be giving life advice, are you giving it and having a conversation in the way that you want to be building that content and building that community? And so I really do think if you are streaming and you're kind of struggling, what is my next goal? Really start with what am I in control of, and what do I want that to become as your starting point? And you can test and work out what the best way to put that forward is. But that's one of the biggest mistakes I see from streamers. And it's like, and when you start doing that, you start thinking of everything from a content-first perspective, and that's, again, goes back to you become authentic.
But if I say please, can I have 1 million followers?
Yeah, you can.
Please.
I don't know how well it's going to go. You ask these guys who will follow you.
I think that I would like to add on as well. Like when I talk to my mods as well, like about that kind of stuff, they always tell me, so we're looking for solutions here. We're not looking at the problem itself. We're gonna figure out like how can we move forward from this, and like trying to figure out ways that we can improve and just like find other avenues on finding solutions. So that's what me and my mods talk about a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, good mods are underrated. Good
Shout out
mods
to
are
mods.
safest. Shout out to the mods. Mod loves. Yeah, no, completely agree. Having good people around you can make all the difference, especially even in the way your community functions in the chat as well, because they can really make it so that your personality is through the chat. Yeah. So our last topic today has to do with showcasing the real you. The reason why we want to touch on this, because it's about planning your content for the future, what that looks like regarding your brand. That's a corporate part, but also how you want your community to grow and function. For me, just touching on the last topic as well, my streams are also really collaborative. So people post news in Discord, and then through sharing world news that way and going through and filtering it through that way, it's a really community-focused way of consuming the world around us. And I try and make it as comfortable as possible, which is also nice for community. And you'll notice I'm a little bit awkward, which makes it, personable and normal and fine. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. It's also, I think one of the things I really wanted to touch on as well is having some sort of structure to your streams can be really important, because while authenticity is really good, people love structure and predictability. Now, I don't want to talk about it in the way that you have to maintain a schedule, because life comes at you pretty hard and fast, and maintaining a schedule is not always possible. But having some sort of structure throughout your streams can be a way that your community feels connected, because there is a sense of predictability. And so for me, that involves news coverage, education, and then singing at the end to be able to deal with the news coverage and the education. But I was just wondering, do you guys do any of that in your streams? Do you have some patterns or some structure? You're like, no, we're throwing caution to the wind. Yeah.
For me personally, I try to have a structure, but it kind of goes one way or the other, because but I'm very glad my community understands that I have a full-time job, I'm doing other things on the side as well. So whenever I do stream, they're very grateful, and they love it there. And then so I don't really have a structure, but they still they don't mind it. They always put me put yourself first always, and then they're take care of yourself first always. Stream comes later, and I really appreciate that of them. So. Yeah.
On that note, do you have any strategies for keeping your content fresh into the future?
Yeah, I'm always trying to plan. I have dinners a lot with friends, and always trying to see what we can do together, or see what kind of content I can do. And then I have a suggestion box on my Discord, being hey, what should I do next? And just always trying to get suggestions going up and plan around that as well. Yeah.
Toast, how do you plan?
I don't have a lot of structure. But I try and stick to a schedule. Everyone says have a schedule, have a regular time. That's the best way to meet your audience, because then they know can count on you. And I try and do that. I have mixed success, but I do have a structure at the beginning. When I start off my stream, usually at the end of a stream, my Escape from Tarkov stash and hideout is a complete mess with junk everywhere that I've just dropped everywhere. And so I do a stash tidying session for the first good half hour or hour of the stream.
Say sash?
Is it stash?
Oh, stash. Sorry, I thought you said
Yeah.
sash. Why do you have so many sashes?
Yeah, it's a sash. It's a mess. It's
Right,
a,
okay,
it's a
okay,
fright.
I'm with you.
And I call it the Patreon only, OnlyFans stream. It's just for the smaller number of viewers who are, as people are coming in, I get everything organised, sell things, buy things, and get everything organised. And it's my chance to check in with chat and check in about my day or what's going on in my life or whatever before we get into the first raid of the day and go fight baddies. So I have that sort of structure. I'm going to start singing at the end of my streams, though. I think that's. I really
Karaoke?
like that idea. That would be a great way to get the tension out.
Oh, it's so much fun. Would highly recommend. Yeah. Just don't let them request any songs that are problematic. My community has
Read
this.
the lyrics in advance.
Oh yeah. Oh, the occasional Pony by Genuine has me traumatized. Lewis,
Yes.
your take on this especially, I'm sure everyone is very interested, including the people watching online. How is Twitch thinking about the creator economy and growth opportunities for streamers into the future?
Yeah, the easiest answer to that is making sure that we're listening to the community and making sure that we come to events like PAX, we're having events like TwitchCon. People that are using Twitch every day for streaming are going to be much more in tune with what the needs are than like most of the people behind the scenes. Making sure there is a voice, looking at user voice. I don't know if you guys know user voice, but making sure that we're keeping up to date on that one.
Democracy.
Vote up. Like I say, it's just making sure that we are in tune with the community. It's changed so much over the years as well. There's been different needs. We were predominantly just gaming, and then as we've expanded into all these different varieties of content, the needs have changed, and the tool sets have changed, and what is required from a moderation side has changed. We're working really hard to make sure that we keep delivering products that help with that. But then, things like Guest Star and Stream Together is really because of an evolution of the content evolution on Twitch, which you guys actually, when Stream Together comes out, should sing together. That would be really
I want
good.
Twitch sings back.
Islands in the stream.
Sorry?
I want Twitch
Yeah, bring back Twitch Sing.
sings. Yeah, Twitch sings, please.
Do you know about Stream Together? Does anyone know about Stream? Okay, cool. Well, Stream Together is basically you're going to be able to join another person's stream. There's some really cool ideas that have been thrown around as well that I hope we implement, but I don't know if we will. I'm not on the product side. But door knocking to be able to enter onto a stream, it's being able to look through the keyhole and seeing who's there and all this. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, ultimately, just staying in tune, talking, making sure that we're in person with partners and creators and communities to make sure we are actually building and being the conduit for your needs rather than just making things that are never going to be necessary.
Yeah, I guess there's probably some trial and error along the way there as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's good though, because some things come out and then they disappear and something better comes out. So, all right, final little gold nuggets of wisdom for the audience and people watching at home. What do you have for us? Lewis, do you want to kick us off for the end for the little gold nugget?
What do we have? Oh,
On how to be authentic.
Yeah,
your little final bit of advice.
It's repeating a lot of what I've said before, but it's really make sure that you're focusing on the content you want to build and what you want to share with people. Numbers will come with that if you're doing it right, and if you're putting yourself out there in the right way, you will find a community that loves you. There's a lot of viewers on Twitch, and there's a lot of people that I know will love you. You just got to put yourself out there in the right way.
Yeah, going on that as well. Just be yourself. Just know who you are and the content that you create. As long as you're having fun, then it will reflect back onto your content and your community as well. So yeah, just have fun with it.
So there's tips for growing community, right? So I thought of a few. One is, and you hear this a lot, but if you like social media, not everyone does, be active on other social media, especially with stuff related to your streaming content. And the hot ones at the moment seem to be TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Bring a lot of people across to visit your stream if you put a highlight or if something funny happens or something topical on a TikTok or a YouTube short. That'll bring people across. But if that's not your thing, if you're Instagram or X or Threads, whatever it is,
X.
be active there and bring whatever it is. But you don't have to go there if you're not into it. Sounds like you're not into it.
Well, I just think it sounds funny when you say like
I
X.
know. I was thinking,
I've
do I
never
say
heard of
Twitter
something like
or X? I don't know.
Twitter.
I'm so out of touch. My other one is to be an active and positive member of other Twitch streams. A lot of people, when they start streaming themselves, can't be bothered hanging out in other people's streams anymore. You lose all the fun of it and the whole community of it. So I think being an active member of other people's streams is a really good way to build community. And my last one was listen to what your audience likes about you and lean into it. And ask them. You can ask your community, what do you want me to play other games? Do you want me to change games? Do you want me to go do an IRL stream? And I also do polls of my chat. Like Twitch won't give us any demographics of our audience for some reason. YouTube will, but Twitch won't. Lewis might be able to answer that.
Yeah.
But you can do your own poll. I just, when I have a lot of viewers, sometimes now and then, I'll put an age poll. Are you 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50? Like, do that. We see countries, or you can see countries, but you can't see ages and genders and things like that. So I sometimes do an age, just to get to know the audience a bit better and do polls about what you should be doing more or less.
That's an incredible answer. My last note on the gold nugget question is at the top of Cringe Mountain is freedom. Lean into what makes you weird. I swear I have gotten probably now too comfortable on the internet, but I swear if you just... It can take a lot of courage and bravery to experience your personality in front of other people, but you will be surprised at how much connection can come from really just leaning into the things that make you dorky or weird or unusual. And you'll find that more people relate to you than you could ever expect. And I
really despise cringe as a term.
no, that's why we're
But
reclaiming it.
but that's
we're
what I mean.
reclaiming the term.
Because the term has become, it's almost become the idea of, I'm not confident enough to be able to put myself out there, so I'm going to take the easy way out and say that that's cringe. And it's like, people that do, everything you do, someone somewhere thinks is cringe, because they either don't have the confidence to do it themselves, or for whatever reason, they have been taught to completely be a robot, and this is how you act, and this is how you should be. If you are doing things that are cringe, it means that you are going outside of your comfort zone, and that is where you should be going. You should be growing, you should be putting yourself out there. So in terms of cringe as a negative connotation, there's going to be someone at some time that is going to say the word cringe to you. Just remember, they don't matter. And it's really about the people that you want to relate to and you want as part of your community, because they'll love you going overboard and going above and beyond.
Yeah. Do you like my Taylor Swift bangles?
Yes.
It's not cringe.
That basically brings us to the close of the speaking at you portion of the panel. If anybody's got any questions for any of our lovely panelists, you are more than welcome to come up to, I think it's that microphone.
There is
right
no microphone over there. It is there.
It is over there. I can see. You're more than welcome to come up and ask any of the panelists questions. If not, thank you so much, everybody, for coming to listen today. Everybody at home, too, thanks for watching. And yeah, if you have any questions, come up.
Who's going to be the brave one?
Oh, do we have one?
Hi, I'm Alex, also known as Sarkarat to some on Twitch. I've got two things to ask. First of all, has anyone actually said Chris Melberger to you yet, Tony?
Yes.
Little in joke.
The hat's gone.
Sad. But also I wanted to say, I know that you have a really broad community base across a few different time zones, and I was just wondering, how do you how do you manage that in terms of maintaining it across, such a...
Good
'cause,
question.
yeah, America and Australia.
Yeah, that is a good question. A lot of it, again, what Toast said, being active on social media has definitely helped, because when it's our daytime, it's their afternoon. So it gives me time to also just chill in their streams when they're streaming, and then so like I can communicate with them, or like through Discord, or just like hang out in the streams. And then when it comes to, because I stream in the afternoon, so I stream their night times. So then they come to my channel when they're done with their day. So then that's how we kind of like switch back and forth, and then just how we talk all the time and hang out and play games. Because I think a lot of my friends also in America, they don't sleep. So our schedule is perfect for them. So they'll be up till like 4 a.m. and I'm like, we're still playing games. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's what I do mainly. I think for me, like when I stream, if I'm like streaming something and then I see a friend in chat, I'll be like, oh hey, like do you guys want to play a game together like right now? Like I'll just bring them in. Like that's why I don't really have a schedule unless I'm playing like a story game. But if I'm playing like Valorant or like some like random game, I'll just like stop the stream. I'm like, hey everyone, let's get going, let's play. And I think that's what brings everyone together as well at the same time. So that's like one of my like what my stream's like, I guess, in a way.
Nice.
Very chaotic. But yeah.
Hello. I think it's really important that I do say this prior to my question. I have borderline personality disorder, so I struggle a lot with empathy. How do you guys, or do you have any advice on how you would deal with people who come into your stream and share perhaps a little bit too much of their personal life and their things that they're going through, especially when you're going through your own stuff?
Well, that's an interesting one. So I'm kind of lucky. My university degree was actually in psychology, so I'm probably a little bit more prepared than a lot of people. It can be really difficult, especially if you are in an entirely different headspace when someone comes in and does that. The way I did it in my channel was I kind of have a specific day for hitting I call it Real Talk Tuesdays, where I kind of just allow people, like I'm more prepared, like mentally I am more prepared on a Tuesday for a paragraph that is a little bit heavier. That's not going to work for everybody, but it's an option. And then the only other thing is you just kind of listen, and then if you're not in the headspace for it, I think just being honest about not being in the headspace, like I am so sorry that this is what you're experiencing right now. I just don't have the capacity to be able to navigate this conversation at the moment. I don't know, does anybody have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I have a couple of techniques. It doesn't happen very often in my stream, but it does happen in other people's streams more than mine. But usually people regulate themselves and know the right amount to share of a heavy topic. But sometimes they don't, because it's such a big thing for them at the time. It's understandable. Usually people time their feedback so that I've finished a round of Tarkov and I'm able to chat and listen and focus. But if they don't, I can buy myself some time by saying, "Oh my goodness, I've seen your what you wrote. I'll get to that when I get out of this game," and that buys you some time to sort of prepare. So that's one technique I use. And then if there is something really big or that's sort of actually serious, I'll be fairly quick to refer people to the proper services like Lifeline or the police or something like that, and almost try and be empathetic but bail a bit earlier and not get too involved in the conversation. But then, but that doesn't happen very often. I had one who said, oh my goodness, the police are banging on the door. I may have beaten up my ex's dad.
Oh, God.
And
Wow.
you just have to bail and say, oh my goodness, that's a lot. I'm not able to help you, but good luck. Try and do the right thing. and try and get some help. And,
That's really all you can do.
and that's really what you can do. But try. So you sort of have to stop yourself getting over involved if it's too serious like that. And then another technique I have is, like, people ask me parenting advice, which makes sense because I'm anciently old, but I never had kids, so I'm not in a position to give parenting advice. Or they ask investment advice, and I have zero of that as well. I do not own a house. So I bounce it back to chat. I say, I don't have anything. Chat will have experience. What do you guys think? And then I can bounce off what they say. And that's a great, it sounds like a deflection, but it's actually a really good community building technique that I'm not an expert on any of these things. What do you guys think? It's often the best answers for these things come from chat.
I would also give the advice of also have a chat with your moderators of what you are comfortable sharing and what you you're happy to respond to and what level you're happy to respond to. I'd also say, especially if I'm not sure if you're talking about community members that have come in and kind of given a day's rundown, or if it's just randoms trying to find any outlet to just kind of put it out there that they're not well. What I'd say is that your community members will understand. They're the people that you've had these conversations with of, I unfortunately don't have that empathy. I'm not the person that I'm best suited to give you advice. And people kind of just throwing it out there that are coming in, that are new viewers, are just trying to find anyone and everything. So the best help for them is to go and actually find proper help. So I'd just be honest with them on that side.
You want to add anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, again, my moderators are like on top of it when something does happen in chat, like a chunk of paragraph, then they'll be like, hey, like now's not the time, but once she is like ready, she will talk about it, or you could talk into the Discord, because I think Discord is like probably the best place to talk about, not on a live stream, because it is live and it's hard to control the conversation when you're live. So yeah, I know Quali in chat. I mean, in the chat, in the audience. She has a channel. We were just talking about this the other day. Like, she has a channel, a command in chat where it'll be like !help. So it'll give the correct resources to.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right. All right, I have a way simpler question. But what's a hurdle that y'all have hit, and what have you done to overcome it?
Ooh,
You
that's
said
a
it's a simple question.
Nah, that's
this
a
a job
great
interview?
question. Do you know, for me, it's so funny because your community functions at different sizes, and it functions differently at different sizes. So the way your community functions at 10 viewers is very different to the way your community functions at 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, 500. Like, it changes significantly. And sometimes the way you're running your stream at 10 viewers does not translate to running a stream at 200 viewers. It just doesn't. And so navigating those transitions was kind of tricky for me. I managed to figure it out somewhat over time. But like, responding to every message works at 10 viewers. Responding to every message doesn't work at 200 viewers. You have to get so much better at scanning the chat and picking the things and navigating the conversation in the way that you want to do it, because that's what can get you stuck at a particular like size of community, because it functions so wildly differently. So that would be a hurdle that I ran into.
I had a hurdle to overcome regarding authenticity. It's a great question, thanks for that. So how much to share of my real life with, to share with chat? Because some of it I want to keep to myself, and I want to share as much as I can, but as much as is appropriate. So my relationship ended about a year ago, and Mrs. Toast was a big part of the stream. She helped encourage me to become a streamer and was very supportive, and we both started small businesses in COVID, basically. We parted amicably, we're still friends, we talk all the time, but what and when do I tell chat that, you know, mum and dad, you know, it's not you, it just didn't work out, you know. When you're going through a breakup, it's a lot, and you sort of want to keep it to yourself until you're ready to talk about it. I hadn't told my family. I can't tell chat before I tell my family. Some of them watch the stream. So what do you do and when? And I sort of gave it a little time and then worked out, and also had to work out with her when to tell chat, because you know that she needs to know when the public knows as well, and when are we telling friends and all that sort of stuff. So we navigated it carefully and gently, and now it's all fine. But it's hard when those things come up, when you're trying to be authentic.
Yeah, no, I have gone the other way. I have never mentioned my personal life on stream once in 7 years, which is, it's difficult, but it's also just a way to kind of avoid any of those questions, which I think it's okay to have things that are private to you. Like, being a streamer can be very open, and I think it is okay to have like some of your life that is private. I think it's kind of undervalued these days because everything is so open at the moment, and I think it's okay. And so like navigating what to share can be really difficult. Anyone really want to add anything?
I was just
Hurdle?
gonna say hurdle, kind of the same thing with ToastRack.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, from when I went through my breakup,
Yeah.
it was like publicly on Twitch, but I kind of just like brushed it off when it was mentioned in chat. So I was just like, you know, like it's not something that I should be talking about. Like, we don't need to talk about it. And then they kind of just understand like it's a personal matter. So I think having that community that understands like when to stop, like it just helps a lot. And then I just like go on with what I was doing. And yeah.
Lewis, besides being my old partner manager, what's a hurdle you came across?
That it's okay. All right. I think the big one for me, it took me a long time to realize it's okay to not be liked by people you don't like. Because it was one of those things that for the longest time, I would expend energy on people that were never going to give me the same time. And yeah, it really did take a lot of time. I don't know, I think something happens when you hit 30, and all of a sudden you just kind of go, I don't care. And it's a really good position, and it's a really good feeling to be able to put those people aside and not give them your energy because they're not worth your time. But yeah, it did take a lot for me to get to that point.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hello. Hello, Honey Ducky.
Hello, I'm Honey Ducky on Twitch, and I had a question about parasocial relationships. And so as a smaller streamer, I guess making friends in the Twitch ANZ space and things like that, as someone with like social anxiety, I had a lot of trouble determining whether people were actual friends or it was a parasocial relationship. And I just wondered if you had any advice on figuring out where the authenticity line is in finding friendships on Twitch yourself.
Great question.
That's a very good question.
I've actually spoken about this a lot because I feel like it is something that comes up a decent chunk of the time. I think these days, I think parasocial relationships kind of cop a bit of an unfair rap. Like it's kind of framed as something inherently negative. And while it very much can be, I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. I think it's important to have boundaries for yourself. For example, one I had to set pretty early on was that I just don't respond to DMs. I do not have the emotional capacity to stream 6 hours a day and then also respond to private DMs. I'm available in Discord, but beyond that, I think for me personally, avoiding that kind of one-on-one sort of what can turn into like emotional labor was really important in kind of navigating that for me. But I would just say like setting pretty firm boundaries in a kind way, because we're all just out here looking for human connection. At the end of the day, that's what Twitch is. It's about building connection and community. And I think most people are really just longing to have that sense of belonging, and especially because of COVID, like Twitch was one of our only options. There was really no other way of feeling like you belonged. So I don't know. That would be my answer.
I don't know where to start.
Good question.
Questions. It's a good question. Such a good question, but
I'd also say it's kind of how to think about what you want out of those relationships. Like, do you want to be friends with these people in real life? Do you feel as though, like, how much trust do you want to put in having that conversation with them? Like, if you want a relationship which is very much virtual, keep it that way. If you would like to do meetups, like, start with safe spaces for meetups. Like, places like PAX are great for that. Where it's like, okay, well, let's meet here at this time, and then have an exit strategy if you want to go that far. Like, it really comes down to what do you want out of those relationships yourself, and making sure that you're putting those boundaries in, and that you're using, I've got to throw it out there, moderation tools that are there to make sure that those boundaries are kept.
Yeah, I do a similar thing when people want to, like I don't have my Discord and Twitch DMs blocked, but if people do start a conversation, like, it's a confusing medium because the streamer is in your living room or in your personal space. It's like your mates, but it's different. So it's not easy for people to navigate. So sometimes people do start a private conversation with me over whispers or something like that, and I usually just try and gently manage it into the Discord or something like that. Say, oh, this is a great picture. This would be awesome in the Discord. Do you mind if I put it there? And continue the conversation that way, and just sort of gently move people into that, because I think it is a good boundary to have, that your conversations with your viewers are in the more public spaces. I think that's a great way to do things.
Yeah. And there's going to be relationships as well that organically turn into proper friendships, and I think it's distinguishing and kind of making sure you understand what they are. Like, I know Pestily is a friend now. Like, he is a friend for life. Well, he's your son as well. So yeah.
Yes.
But there will be relationships that turn into that, and there'll be relationships with community members that will always be a community member and a streamer relationship. It's just trying to understand at what point, where do you want the boundary to stop?
Those were really good questions. Thank you. That was so great. I think we're about to wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. Can I get a final round of applause for our panel members? I think we're going to be around outside the theatre if you want to come up and say hello to anyone. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your PAX. 10 years. Woo!
Thank you.